So teaching yourself things can be a pretty daunting task. In the past, this meant spending money on books, classes, or possibly spending hours clicking through links on the internet. Well, the good news is ChatGPT has changed the learning game forever, and in this video, I'm going to show you how you can learn literally anything using ChatGPT, even if you haven't been able to teach yourself things in the past. And if you're still brand new to ChatGPT or looking to learn new prompts, be sure to check out my ultimate guide to ChatGPT video, the top link down in the description, where you can learn 52 different prompts. The first prompt here is asking ChatGPT to create a learning schedule for you, and that's the first step to accountability, is working something in to your overall daily routine. Now, a lot of us are pretty busy to begin with, but the cool thing is, no matter how chaotic your life is or schedule is, you can use ChatGPT to create a schedule for you on your behalf, just like a personal assistant. The prompt I've written out says, create a schedule for me that includes 30 minutes of time to learn each day, and then I include some details about my fictitious schedule. I get up at 6 a.m. and work from 7 to 3:30, and I eat dinner around 6 p.m. I can't do it on Tuesdays after 7 p.m. And once you have all of this filled out, you can click on the green button or click enter, and you can see the learning time is scheduled for 7 to 7:30 p.m. Monday to Friday. Now, do keep in mind, we mentioned as well that on Tuesdays we couldn't do it after 7, but it did keep track of that here at the bottom, and it says on Tuesday evenings you won't have learning time after 7, so you can utilize the 6:30 to 7 p.m. slot for learning instead. Now, of course, you do still have to hold yourself accountable in terms of actually following this schedule, but this takes a lot of the guesswork out of the equation as far as when you're actually going to allocate time to your learning. The next prompt is using ChatGPT for skill research. My favorite analogy here is that learning skills is sort of like learning how to run a marathon. And if you're looking to do that, you're going to start off by running a mile, and then you'll probably do something like a 5K and build up from there into that marathon. Well, depending on what you're looking to learn from ChatGPT, you can think of it as running a marathon, a 5K, or running a mile. What we're going to do here is get an idea of how long it takes to learn certain skills. The first prompt I have here is, how many hours does it take to learn Spanish? The estimate here from ChatGPT is 600 to 750 hours of study. If you were doing this for 30 minutes a day, that means that it could take you up to potentially 1,500 days in order to learn Spanish. That's why you want to make sure that you're not trying to run a marathon right out of the gate. The next prompt I have here is, estimate how many hours does it take to learn Python? That is a coding language you can also learn using ChatGPT. So if you want basic familiarity, you can get there in around 20 to 40 hours of study and practice. If you're looking to have a novice programming ability, that's about 100 to 200 hours, and then it builds up from there. So I'd recommend looking for a skill that only takes a few hours to learn, and then looking to accomplish that over your first week of scheduled learning. Now, for the purpose of this video, we're going to continue with learning the skill of speed reading, because that is a skill that takes about a week to learn, maybe a little bit longer, and it will require some practice, but we can do all of that within ChatGPT with different prompts. At this point, you have a learning schedule hashed out based on your personal life, and you have a rough idea on how many hours it's going to take to learn your first skill or to run your first mile here. Well, it's now time to ask ChatGPT for your curriculum outline. So what I've written out here is, I want to learn how to become a speed reader in 7 days with 30 minutes of studying each day. Please create a 7-day lesson plan for me, and then I'm going to click on enter. Now, it does tell me that becoming a speed reader in 1 week flat is going to be a bit challenging, but it still gave me the answer, and it broke this up into 7 different topics each day. Well, now what you're going to do is start your actual lesson. So what you're going to do is copy and then paste it down below, asking it to teach me the following information. The prompt I've written out here says, I'm looking to spend 30 minutes learning about the following. Please teach it to me. And now I'm going to paste in day 1 lesson plan and click on enter. And now the ChatGPT tutoring session has begun. Now, before we get into the learning reinforcement section where I show you how to do quizzes and practice examples and things like that, I do want to show you two more prompts in the curriculum section that you can use in terms of taking this and getting more information out of ChatGPT. The first one is the explain prompt. What you'd want to do from here is begin reading through your curriculum just like you were reading a, synthesized version of a textbook, for example. And then as soon as you come across something that you don't understand, we're going to ask ChatGPT to explain a given concept. One of the first things we come across here is understanding and then eliminating subvocalization. This is something I've never come across. It's super interesting though. But subvocalization is the habit of silently pronouncing each word in your head while reading. I had no idea that there was a way to stop doing that, but that's exactly how I read, for example. And let's say you wanted more information on that. All you would have to do is type down here, explain subvocalization to me, and it's going to go into more detail about that topic. And this is allowing me to then get a better idea of what that is before I continue with the daily learning curriculum. Now, let's say you got your explanation that you were looking for, and then you go back up to your original daily lesson plan, and now you've gotten through everything for that day, but you actually want to keep learning. Well, let me show you the keep going prompt. It's one of the best ones out there because you can use it in pretty much any chat thread. But if you go up here and edit your previous chat thread, and in this one here, we instead type keep going. And then if we hit save and submit, it's actually now bringing us into the second day of learning curriculum. So we actually covered everything that we were looking to learn in that first day. But if you were at that point enjoying what you were learning and you decided you wanted to double up, or maybe it didn't take you the full 30 minutes, the prompt keep going will have ChatGPT continuing on whatever you were asking it to do previously. What I would recommend doing from here is following the learning schedule that ChatGPT created for you, spending, let's say, 30 minutes per day learning, and you'll be amazed at how fast you're able to learn things in this synthesized manner. At this point, we've covered how to schedule learning time with ChatGPT. We've covered how to generate learning curriculum from it, but what we haven't covered is how to reinforce all of that knowledge that you're learning. Otherwise, you might just be taking in all this information like a sponge, but it could seep right out if you're not actually applying it. The first prompt I want to show you is a quiz-related prompt asking ChatGPT to ask you questions about a certain topic. Now, this might not be applicable to the topic of learning speed reading, but if you were learning chemistry, for example, it would be very applicable. So I'm going to type in chemistry, and we are asking ChatGPT to ask me questions about chemistry. At this point, you can answer the questions 1 through 10, and ChatGPT will tell you if you're correct. I'm going to take a stab at answer number 1 here, but I'm going to tell you right now, I have no idea the atomic number of carbon. I think you are allowed to have a periodic table of elements to reference. I don't have that in front of me, but let's just say I'm going to answer 1 and I'm going to say it is a 32, but that's incorrect. It's actually a 6. You can actually ask it if you want to explain why that answer was or wasn't correct. You can go through this listed format here, answering these questions, but the next prompt will actually generate a multiple choice quiz if you're looking to test your knowledge in a different format. The next prompt here says, ask me multiple choice questions about chemistry, and now you're going to get multiple choice questions just like a quiz or a test instead of getting a list of questions you have to type in. But I'm just going to once again answer that first question and show you guys for example's sake. The first question here says, which of the following elements has the chemical symbol Fe? I actually remember this one, that is iron. It tells me that that was correct, and now it's continuing with more questions. So if you're looking to practice for school, studying, tests, or even just reinforcing information that you're learning in ChatGPT, this is one of the ways to do it. The next prompt I want to show you is generating speed reading examples. I want to take things back to the original example just to show you how you would use ChatGPT to reinforce something like that. The prompt I have here is, I am looking to practice speed reading. Please give me a paragraph of text to speed read and then quiz me about what I just read, and now it's going to do exactly that for us. And it's giving us an exercise here of read the paragraph and then answer the following 3 questions. But you could also ask ChatGPT to make it easier or more challenging depending on the example given. That's how you can use ChatGPT to reinforce what it has already taught you. But I want to show you 3 more bonus learning prompts. The first thing I want to show you is that ChatGPT has the capability of straight up teaching you a coding language. Now, earlier we talked about how learning something like Python takes anywhere from 20 to 40 40 hours just to really get the basics. That's kind of like, running a 5K, for example, if you're looking to build up to that marathon we were talking about. But if you do want to be more ambitious, let me show you a prompt for getting ChatGPT to teach you a coding language. Now, ChatGPT is familiar with most coding languages out there, but the prompt I've gone with is start teaching me Python. It's going to bring up in a visual window here, lessons about Python, where to install it, and it also does this in a coding window. You can use the explain prompt and the keep going prompt if you want to continue the lesson or get more clarity on different parts. The next thing you can do with ChatGPT is generate a summary of an article or a body of text. So let's say you're looking to learn about a certain topic and you come across an article that you're looking to extract the information from, but you don't want to spend all of this time reading that article. But you can ask ChatGPT to summarize an article and then paste that contents in, and it will now generate a summary for you. So just like that, we're getting a much more digestible format here of the information. And if we wanted it to be explained more simply, we could say explain this to a 5th grader, for example, and that would bring it to a very basic level that a lot of people would be familiar with. The final prompt I'm going to show you here is using ChatGPT for recommendations. So if you're looking to expand your learning outside of just the chatbot and you're looking to get book recommendations, movie recommendations, things like that, you can use ChatGPT for this. Now keep in mind, because of that knowledge cutoff, which is September 2021, it's not going to have access to the most current movies, books, and things like that. But depending on the topic, there is going to be a lot of information it is able to give you. With the prompt best chemistry books, it's responding to us with a list here of different books, organic chemistry, inorganic chemistry, etc., etc. You could then take these to your local library, grab a couple of these books. Now, with any skill that you're learning, real-world application is going to be key for reinforcing and solidifying that knowledge. Just reading about information is going to teach you things, and then quizzing yourself does help with the reinforcement, but you really need to put that information to work to really solidify that and remember things forever. It's kind of like the equivalent of going to a Spanish class and practicing Spanish versus going to a Spanish-speaking country. Those two things are just not going to compare with each other in terms of the learning environments. Once you have a solid base and reinforcement built with ChatGPT, don't be afraid to really throw yourself into a situation where you need to use those skills that you learned, because I think you'll be amazed just how proficient you are, even in a very short period of time. What I recommend doing is, instead of wasting your time on video games and things like that, use ChatGPT to build skills, and then take those skills that you've learned to build wealth. So, you start off by building a wealth of knowledge and understanding about how the world works, and then you become a good problem solver. And that's what can help you to generate wealth, is by solving problems for people on a massive scale. Well, before you can do any of that, you need to identify problems. And in order to do that, you need to know how the world works. And ChatGPT is really the ultimate tool for just learning different things. It's like a tutor that never loses patience. It is still a tool that is in research preview mode, and you should always double check your facts with ChatGPT, as it can give incorrect information, but overall, it is the most powerful learning tool that I've personally ever come across. Now, I do have a book I did want to mention as well here, guys. If you're looking to learn more about building a side hustle, I've written a book, From Side Hustle to Main Hustle to Millionaire, which is a step-by-step guide on launching your very own side hustle. I started off living in rural upstate New York, working for the local power company, and I built up a digital business empire from there across blogging and YouTube and a few different avenues. And this book walks you through step by step how I was able to do that, sharing the many lessons in the process. You can grab a copy today on Amazon. It's also in person at most Barnes & Noble locations. There's copies at libraries across the United States, or there's an author narrated version of it on Audible. If you are looking to keep going with your ChatGPT learning adventure, go ahead and check out my ultimate guide to ChatGPT in the description below, or there's going to be a card as well as an on-screen option to start watching that now. And once again, make sure you guys subscribe and hit that bell for future ChatGPT related videos that we have planned. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.